By the way, did you know I was a psychic too? Here, watch. Come on. One of you, please. It isn't working. Hey everyone, Brobuscus here, and welcome back to another Let's Watch of Death Battle. Today's episode, we got Magneto versus Tetsuo from Akira. It's going to be an interesting one to be sure. So before we get into it, there should be a link in the description below. You can go watch the actual episode yourself. Do all the things like comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Then come back to watch literally whoever reacts to this, including myself. So, yeah. So real quick, before we even get into it, I apologize if I don't sound very enthusiastic right now. Believe me, I'm looking forward to this episode. It's just, I don't know, I guess I just had a rough sleep or something because I'm tired. My neck and the back of my shoulder is feels very stiff. So if you see me like move to the side a little bit and I'm starting to like cringe, it's not because of the episode, it's because I am in pain. So yeah, so Magneto versus Tetsuo. We got Marvel versus Akira. Another new franchise. So that's what 6 episodes in and 5 new franchises, I want to say. League, Demon Slayer, Invincible, The Boys, 7 Battle Royale doesn't count. Shut up. And Akira, yeah. So yeah. So another new franchise, which means another thing I had to watch in the lead up to this. And I'm going to be completely and totally honest with you. I tried watching it. I have the disc for it and everything. And about halfway through the movie, I started to fall asleep. Yeah. I don't know if it's because of the movie. It might be. I don't know. But I was also probably just sleep deprived at the time because I've been working a lot of morning shifts at my day job. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another rewatch if this episode convinces me to do so. But gonna be honest, for what little I did watch, I wasn't particularly into it. I kind of understand the impact it's had on other media, but it just didn't really click with me. And in turn, I'm not really the biggest fan of Tetsuo as a character. I don't know. He just didn't click with me. I can't really explain it much more than that. It's just not a vibe, I guess. But on the flip side, I actually really like Magneto. I think he's a really cool character. Very interesting villain. It's like a whole thing where like, you know, he believes what he's doing is right. He's trying to like make life better for mutant kind while ruining everyone else's lives in the process, which is what makes him a villain. I think it's interesting. You know, it's like he's got the same sort of ideals as someone like Charles Xavier, just he takes it to a much bigger extreme. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say. Also, I think he looks cool. I've always loved Magneto's design. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say. My only real experience with Magneto, as far as like outside the comics, is I think he's in Days of Future Past, right? I watched that. I watched like the second half of First Class, and I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that's basically it. I also do have Ultimate Alliance 3, and I still have yet to play it. So, yeah. So, who do I want to win? Who do I think is going to win? Bloody. It's Magneto on both fronts. I want him to win. I think he's going to win. And I don't really see much of a way that Tetsuo can win this one. I know, like, regeneration is a thing for him, and apparently it's pretty crazy, but Magneto's an Omega level mutant. When Alpha level mutants can fold the universe, like the Marvel universe, might I add. Yeah, it just kind of seems. And I know, like, there was a thing like Tetsuo like became part of the universe or something, like became like a separate dimension or something. I don't remember the whole detail. But, well, for one, he dies doing that. Secondly, he was like merged with the universe, which is like essentially BFRing yourself. So really, that's like the only thing I could see working in Tetsuo's favor here. Also, he has a metal arm, which is really unfortunate against someone who fights with magnetism. So like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, admittedly, I'm not like, I mean, I watched like a good chunk of Akira, but I'm not like terribly well versed in the franchise, nor am I very well versed in Tetsuo, the character. So maybe there's something I and like 90% of the community got wrong. Who knows? Only one way to find out. So let's do it. Play.
Magneto, Marvel's mutant master of magnetism.
Testuo Shima, Akira's telekinetic terror of Neo-Tokyo.
These two
Oh, I guess
maestros
it's
of
like
kinesis have
Akira.
ignited
Like,
revolution, not
I don't know.
just
I'm
in
still
their
probably gonna call it
worlds, but
Akira.
also the very mediums they exist within.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. In the short duration of modern civilization, likely no conflict tested humanity more than the Second World War. In the primary Marvel 616 universe, this fact is no different, especially to the Eisenhart family and their only son.
You may know him as Magnus, Eric, or Max, but if you ask him, he'd say his true name is Magneto.
As a Jewish child in Nazi Germany, Magneto's early life was, well,
wooden guns.
extremely traumatic.
Even after eventually escaping certain death with his future wife, misfortune always followed wherever he went.
Thanks to his unexpected mutation called the X gene, the mark of a superhuman. After settling down in Russia with his new family, the KGB quickly found out about this quirk, so they burned his house down with his own daughter inside.
Naturally, he snapped and killed them all. I don't blame him. I'd do that
No, I don't
too.
either.
Too bad his wife didn't get it and ditched him, though. But that's when Magneto made a choice. Since humans hurt him his entire life, he'd do the same to them in the name of mutants everywhere.
At first, Magneto turned to the telepathic powerhouse Charles Xavier and his fledgling team of heroes. But his new friend wasn't thrilled with the idea of, subjugating the human race. So, Magneto formed his own team of mutants, the Brotherhood.
Magneto can telekinetically move.
The Brotherhood
bend,
of Evil
and
Mutants.
reshape any metal he's aware of. Bullets, vehicles, buildings, you name it.
Nice branding.
Even himself when he manipulates his personal magnetic field for flight and energy barriers.
Magnetokinesis is far more versatile than it would appear at first glance. The blood in your body has iron in it. The air has traces of lead and mercury. Whole mountains are lined with metallic ore. The Earth itself is surrounded by a literal magnetic field.
So many toys for Maggie to play with. He can detect
Maggie?
magnetic fields at such a huge range, he can even pinpoint Earth's magnetic rays while stranded on a planet in another galaxy. And guess what? He was able to use those rays to pull himself back to Earth in a single day.
His range is even more remarkable than that. Did you know that in 1820, physicist Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electric currents, like those of electrons and protons and atoms, produce their own magnetic fields? Magneto can fine-tune his control to affect these very subatomic particles. Dummy here will illustrate such a particle, with positively charged protons and negative electrons.
My life is as meaningless as an atom is small.
So what you're saying is Magneto could, like, yank one of those out.
Correct, potentially changing an atom's entire chemical makeup. However, neutrons do not have a charge, and without the ability to adjust those to accommodate the change in atomic mass, the atom would become unstable and...
Finally!
do that. Magneto's
Fun.
violent protest against humankind clashed with Xavier's peaceful reconciliation, not unlike the ideologies taught by Malcolm X and Dr. King, by whom Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were inspired. Magneto would spend most of his career pushing Xavier away to prove his philosophies superior, which meant doing battle with Xavier's school of thought, quite literally.
And Baldy's mind powers are no joke, but thanks to Magneto's psionic repelling helmet, Professor X couldn't touch him. Magneto survived Cyclops' earth-splitting lasers, absorbed the power of the sun to battle Iron Man, ripped the adamantium skeleton out of Wolverine's body, and even taken on Hercules himself. You know, the Greek legend, Zero to Hero? The guy who held up the skies of Olympus for Atlas? That Hercules.
Seems sensible. Magneto once used the Earth's magnetic field to overwhelm the Phoenix Force, which can effortlessly destroy planets, let alone far more.
Hell, if he really wanted to, Magneto could totally just fling the Earth up its axis.
It's entirely possible he may have eventually resorted to just that. Over time, it became clear Magneto's war was doing far more harm than good for his fellow mutants, however well-intentioned he may have been at first.
Luckily, he later realized he was going a bit overboard and began reevaluating his perspective. Good for you, Mags. It's really tough to recognize when you're the baddie.
It took time and patience not just from Magneto, but also from his peers. Yet eventually, his path was completely changed. He even became a leader for Xavier's X-Men.
But don't let his new goody two-shoes ways fool you. Whenever there's a threat to mutants, you can bet Magneto will be there to annihilate it. Forever, by any means necessary.
Over 30 years ago, a new type of bomb was set off over
Akira.
Tokyo, and 9 hours later, began the Third World War.
Welcome to 2030, or 2019 if you're watching the anime. The buildings are taller, the motorcycles are cooler, and the future is brighter.
Motorcycles might as well come out of Tron.
No, wait, not really. If you find yourself in the Capsule Gang, you'll meet Shotaro Kaneda, who's like your textbook anime Chad. Gets the ladies, beats the baddies, and cops the sweetest rigs. Man, I need to get me one of those.
And then there's the little brother of the group, Kaneda's best friend, Testuo Shima. He's, well...
the exact opposite. A
Yeah.
total win. As a kid, Tetsuo in his college thesis forehead got bullied for being the new kid at the orphanage. That's until Big Bro Kaneda came to the rescue.
Eventually, the two went to vocational school together and formed the Capsules. But Tetsuo was never satisfied with Kaneda being the leader of the pack. Tetsuo desired more than anything to be top dog.
Oh, I can just see that monkey's paw curling in my mind. Or that kid walking down the street. Shit! Tetsuo, watch out! You're gonna... That definitely should have killed him. But since it didn't, Tetsuo earned himself a ticket to military confinement. Turns out they had an under-the-table program for developing child superweapons.
In the same program that backfired and jump-started the war, Tetsuo became Japan's Esper number 41.
He may not have been a natural with bikes, baddies, or babes, but this telekinesis stuff hit different. He walked out of that hospital ward effortlessly flying, reading minds, and blending people into strawberry jelly. Tetsuo got what he wanted. Power, along with the hunger for more of it.
A hunger that used to only be satiated with drugs. And not just any gateway drug, pills so potent that a single gram of the stuff could kill you.
So, pretty bad. Kinda reminds me of college days, huh, Snow Wizard?
Tetsuo's main ability is his constantly increasing psionic energy, growing more and more powerful over time. This is due to Tetsuo's link to, quote, the memories of the universe, end quote. It's weird.
Either way, Tetsuo leveled up from lame gangbuster to certified badass. This guy is a walking natural disaster. His telekinesis can shake the planet, easily cause earthquakes over 12 miles below the surface. He can summon psychic barriers for defense and crush foes with friggin' gravity wells. He can dart around as a literal bolt of lightning, or even teleport in an instant.
Tetsuo's telekinesis can be so precise he can target and obliterate specific parts of the body. He can heal severe wounds quickly, but even after losing a whole limb, he can craft a new one using whatever nearby materials he wants.
With these powers, Top Dog
sorry, I'm not
matter
paying
anymore.
attention
Who
that
needed
much.
his approval? Tetsuo tasted that
My
good
dog
shit
is
and he was
downstairs.
hooked. And when he found out another esper named Akira could deal him even more power, he rampaged through Tokyo to find him.
And this is where versions of the story differ.
Spoilers ahoy!
You may be familiar with the 1988 animation, where Akira had been dissected for research. However, in the original manga, Akira is not only alive, but even more powerful.
Once that little runt nuked Tokyo, Tetsuo would erect the Great Tokyo Empire with Akira and himself as its leaders. But he ended up just abusing the position for endless sex and inflating his ego.
With Kaneda's rebellion at his front door, Tetsuo took a turn for the worse. He had to fight.
Tetsuo's defeated other powerful espers, dodged light-speed lasers, and jumped to the moon faster than anyone could blink, and then punched a big old hole in it. And if you ask, Boomstick, wouldn't that mess up gravity on Earth? You would be right, because it totally did. Screw the planet, I guess. Stupid moon.
Which brings us to Tetsuo's folly. His abuse of his powers spiraled until he lost control. Unfortunately for Kaneda's rebellion, this did not make Tetsuo an easier enemy to confront. Exactly opposite, in fact, as Tetsuo painfully mutated into an unstoppable behemoth.
Yep, that's not totally disturbing at all.
I'm happy to say the manga's version is even more disturbing.
I mean, I know babies can be monsters, but that's a whole nother level.
It is pain incarnate. I can relate. Another esper described Tetsuo's struggle as ego death, which has multiple definitions, but in this case is likely symbolic of the version attributed to drug use.
Yeah, it's described as a shedding of one's own identity, like how LSD can emulate a wild out-of-body experience, and you come back with a new perspective. Though this is maybe a little more extreme. In fact, you could say Tetsuo was shedding his human body to play with the powers of a god.
I wish I could shed out of my body. But in this case, Tetsuo going full out-of-body meant becoming a mound of raw, ever-expanding energy.
Which almost nuked Tokyo all over again. And those explosions are not normal. I would know.
Top scientists in both the manga and animated versions describe these explosions as births of a new universe.
Given its properties of nuclear fusion and proton collapse, Tetsuo's mutated form was likely creating a Big Bang.
You know, the thing that started our whole universe?
Right, in the manga, it instead ended the espers and their abilities once and for all. A testament that humankind is unsuited to wield the powers of the divine.
Though the anime's even more trippy. Thanks to Akira and his buddies, Tetsuo got so high on ego death, he ascended time-space to become god of a new universe. Kinda worth it, right?
And yet, Kaneda kept his empire up in his honor, now as the Great Akira Empire. Ironically, in death, Tetsuo finally received the attention he so desperately craved. Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Not yet. Okay. So, I'm gonna be honest, so there was something going through my head the entire time I was watching Tetsuo's analysis, and that's, did they mention speed feats for Magneto? Because the dude's actually pretty fast. So I still think Magneto's going to win. But I don't know if you can hear him, but my dog is making quite a bit of noise. One sec. Anyways, so I'm gonna have my ear exposed for the rest of this video probably, just so I can make sure he's not getting into trouble. So yeah, I still think Magneto's going to win. I feel like that whole power of the Big Bang thing isn't really gonna come into play because they've done that sort of thing before. Like my mind immediately right now goes to Schrodinger for Alucard. Like they made a big deal about that and was like, wait, what about Schrodinger? Like, so yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much of a reason why I still think Magneto's gonna win. I mean, like they capped him off at like planet level mostly. But I don't know. I feel like at this point I'm just going with my gut. They made Tetsuo seem more impressive, but I'm still kind of thinking Magneto. Just exploring. Anyways, yeah. Enough about him. I still think Magneto's gonna win. So let's jump right into that, shall we? I did see the preview, by the way.
Even in Japan, they fail to recognize
Edward Bosco's so good as Magneto. It's Edward Bosco's Magneto and Joshua Waters as Tetsuo, I think.
Grandpa, you're an Akira turf now.
They're both pretty good.
You're dead meat.
impudent child.
The hell are you calling child? I make the rules around here.
I have also listened to the music. It is really good.
You're wasting my time. Parlor tricks for the
And
Master
preview
of Magnetism.
ends here. Sure, just throw an entire building on the guy.
I'll kill you! Your history, scumbag!
Shoryuken! Jeez. Helmet's off, and the helmet is broken. Yeah, again.
Believe I've had enough tantrums to last a lifetime.
Yeah, okay, that looks mad gross.
Listen, welcome. I'll handle this on my own.
Come on, Magneto, you've resisted like Charles Xavier before.
Help me.
Poor child.
What? Hello? Oh.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Wow. What an ending.
I'm never doing that again.
Tetsuo's esoteric telekinesis and other bizarre abilities certainly gave Magneto pause, but the Master of Magnetism had greater control over his foe.
The numbers don't lie. Tetsuo cratering the moon was insane, but Magneto punched Iron Man with the force of the sun. And while Tetsuo jumped all the way to the moon, Magneto could move across galaxies.
Oh, I
Against
forgot
Tetsuo in
about
his human
that.
form, Magneto obviously held a sizable advantage in power and speed.
But stats aren't all that matters. With his precise telekinesis, Tetsuo could just target Magneto's organs. GG, right?
Yes, but Magneto had similar skills. There are very few substances on Earth that lack any metallic or magnetic component, and Magneto is very creative with his powers.
Which he could use to predict Tetsuo's teleportation and even shut down his telekinesis. And his scraps
Oh.
with Xavier prove he could handle Tetsuo's messing with his head. The biggest challenge for Magneto was when Tetsuo's gross mutated power came into play.
Especially given how the detonations from this form were compared to that of a Big Bang. Although the authenticity of that observation is questionable. In truth, the Big Bang was a sudden expansion of matter on a universal scale, whereas Tetsuo's explosions are more akin to nuclear blasts, clearly intentional given the post-war symbolism of the Akira story.
The whole creating an alternate universe bit wasn't even part of the original material, so we can't exactly call it canon.
But let's just say the comparison wasn't superfluous. Let's say Tetsuo did in fact cause a Big Bang capable of creating or destroying an entire universe, alternate or otherwise.
Turns out Magneto had the tools to stop that too. Helmet Head could overpower Hercules, who was strong enough to hold up the skies of Olympus, which is literally heaven and an alternate universe.
This doesn't necessarily mean Magneto could easily destroy a universe with a snap of his fingers, but it does prove he can match a similar level of power. And context is everything. Tetsuo's Big Bang eruption specifically exhibited proton collapse, meaning its atomic structure was primarily an unstable mess of neutrons and electrons. And Magneto has detected and commanded unstable electrons before. This means Magneto had every means available to take control over this Big Bang.
Damn, and I thought he could just move some metal around. It's like the question posed by some of the greatest prophets of our time. Fucking magnets. How do they even work?
Magneto's astonishing power and intelligent control over all things magnetism triumphed in the end.
Tetsuo pushed his luck, but didn't have the metal to pull off the win.
The winner is Magneto.
Not much of a surprise, but...
Thank you for watching this episode. If you'd like to directly support the whole Death Battle team, click that join button and consider becoming a member.
Alright, what on earth is next? I have no idea. Hercules versus Sun Wukong. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. I'm confuzzled. I don't. What? Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. So we're going like mythos now? Or we're going to like mythology now? Okay, hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if the researchers have said anything about this fight. Cause like I have no earthly idea what this could. So we're literally doing mythology, it looks like. Oh my gosh. I mean... What? How's that? How's that for new franchises? I mean, yeah, that's definitely something. What on earth? I don't know what to expect now. I'm so confused. You know what? Okay. Hercules versus Sun Wukong. That's... Okay. know what to expect with that one. All right. Well, I guess I'll find out something about that eventually. But, as for this fight, it was cool. I like it. I don't really know what more I can. I mean, I guess I'm still like reeling over the other. Man, my dog. Okay. Anyways, animation was cool. Voice acting was neat. Music was cool. I wasn't quite sure what to expect when Magneto had his helmet destroyed and when Tetsuo went blobby. When Magneto was screaming after like he was getting like enveloped by the light, I was like, oh shoot, is he gonna lose this? But no, he did not. Yeah. I really wish I had more to comment on this episode and on the next time, but I don't really know what to think right now. And also, I do kind of want to watch over him because he's making racket. He probably misses me. So I guess I'll leave it at that for now, but we'll see how the next episode goes. I should note real quick. So I think we're probably still going to do a podcast at least. Just Z-Dog's probably going to be editing it. But I will say I don't know if I will be able to do a reaction to Hercules vs. Sun Wukong. And the reason why is because we're going. So my parents are already out, but me and my sister are going to be joining them on vacation this upcoming Saturday, and we're not coming back until the day that this comes out. I don't know. I'll try to think of something, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know how I can react to the next one anyway, so I mean, whatever. So I guess I'll probably see you when that episode comes out. Right now, I have a very impatient, very lonely dog to take care of. So I'm gonna go do that. And yeah, so that's all I really have to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.